That's cute too. So surface area, surface area. So in surface area, today we're doing rectangular prisms and cylinders today. Okay, today we're only doing cylinders and rectangular prisms. Next class, we will do triangular prisms, okay? But before we do any of that, we need to make sure we know what the bases are of those shapes. So here I have a cylinder. What is the base of a cylinder? What shape is it? A circle. Okay, so my base, bottom and top, or a cylinder can be on its side, but the circles are the base of a cylinder. For a rectangular prism, what's the base? A rectangle, right? Rectangular prism. So a rectangle is the base. So my base on a rectangular prism is the bottom rectangle. So my base is the rectangle on the bottom. And then for a triangular prism, what's the base? Triangular prism is a triangle. Okay, so this is like the main one that people mess up on because they see that a triangular prism usually has a rectangle on the bottom and automatically thinks that's the base. But in the word triangular prism, the triangles are the base, okay? And excuse my terrible drawing. So triangular prism, the triangles are the base. This is extremely important because just like volume, we're gonna do stuff with the bases for surface area. Okay, so let's talk about what is area in the first place. Okay, write these two things down. We're doing two things. We're doing lateral surface area and we're doing total surface area. So lateral surface area is the area of all the sides except the bases. So lateral surface area is the area of all the sides excluding the bases. So lateral surface area is the area of all the sides of my figure, all the sides except the bases. Total surface area is the area of all the sides, including the bases. So that's everything. Total, hence the name total. Total is everything. That's area of all the sides, including the bases. So we're doing two types of surface area, lateral surface area and total surface area. Lateral surface area, again, is the area of all the sides, not including the bases. Total surface area is the area of all the sides, including the bases. All right, so let's go to our first shape, cylinder, okay? Cylinder, cylinder, cylinder. So go ahead and draw this cylinder out on your paper. All righty. What does that 5 represent? Diameter. Awesome. This 5 right here is the diameter of my base. And we know that because that's all the way across the circle. So if I drew out my base, it would be all the way across. Okay, so 5 represents the diameter. What's the 15 represent? The height. So this is my height from base to base. So from circle to circle, or bottom to top. Always, always, always label your stuff. That will help a ton. So for lateral surface area, the formula for a cylinder is S equals 2 pi r h. So for lateral surface area of a cylinder, the formula is S equals 2 pi r h. Good morning. Like the scarf.
Thanks. My mom made it out of recycled plastic bottles.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, really? All right, so 2 pi RH. So it's 2 times pi times radius times height, which makes sense because 2 pi r, that part right there is the circumference, the outer part of my circle, and the height. So this is just the area of this part right here, not the bottom and the top. So let's actually solve this out. 2 pi, what is my radius? 2.5, awesome. And how did we figure that out? Divided by 2. So we took our diameter was 5, and we divided that by 2. We split that in half, which gave us a radius of 2.5. So our radius is 2.5, so 2.5. And what is our height? 15. So now I'm using handy dandy Desmos to give me my I don't know if I want to keep exiting out of this. We'll see how it works. Oops. So everyone just do it in Desmos, and we'll just check our answers together because I can't exit out of this. Or I can, it would be the mouse. Where's my calculator go? Did everyone get 235.6? Awesome. So that'll be 235.6 centimeters. In area, the units are always squared, sorry. The units are always squared. So for volume, they were cubed, but for area, they're squared. All right. Questions about that is literally look at the formula, plug the numbers in. That's literally it. For total surface area, the formula is S equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. And this makes sense because it's adding the two bases, the area of the two bases. Because pi r squared is the area of a circle, and there's 2 circles in a cylinder. So that's the plus the 2 bases, the area of the 2 bases. So from here, you're doing the exact same thing. You're plugging in your numbers. So S equals 2 times pi. The radius is 2.5. The height is 15. Plus 2 pi. The radius is 2.5 squared. And I'm just literally plugging that in to Desmos. Now, what do some people do? Don't write it down. Just look at the picture, put it into Desmos. No. Always write it down. And the second thing people try to do, what is 2 times pi? Now let me multiply that by that. Let me multiply that. Oh, now let me add. No, just do it all in one step. Put it into Desmos in one step. Maybe it would benefit if I just did that real quick and showed y'all. So in case you didn't see before where the pi is and the desmos and stuff, let me just tell you. So 2 pi times 2.5 times the height, which was 15, plus 2 pi 2.5 squared. Did everyone get 274.889, blah, 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 blah? Awesome. So we're just going to round it to nearest 10th place. So this 8 is going to become a 9 to 274.9. So just for everything today, let's just round to nearest 10th place. What was it? I already forgot. 274.9? Okay. So S equals 274.9 centimeters squared. You didn't get that?
No, I got 0.8.
Yeah, it was like 0.88. And so that 8 on the 100th place made the 8 in the 10th place round up. Okay, and that's it for cylinder. I'm done with cylinder. Okay, cylinder is the easiest one out of the 3 shapes because it's literally like, here's your formula, plug in the radius and height, put it in the calculator, okay? The one that's a little tricky is the next one. But let me make sure everyone understands. Can I get a virtual thumbs up if we're good on cylinder? Can I get that virtual thumbs up if we're good on cylinder? All right, loving them thumbs. All right. Let's do one more. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all do this one on your own, and then we're gonna check our answer. Okay, so this is a new shape. I mean, not a new shape. It's a cylinder, but with new dimensions. So 2.25 represents the what? The radius. And 10 represents my height. For lateral surface area, I assume everyone's at least done with lateral. Lateral surface area, did it get 141.4? All right. And then I'll wait a minute for total. Hmm. 141.4. What'd you get? Let me look at yours. the radius is 2.25. Yeah, I did the same thing. Okay, and then for total, 173.2. All right. A question I usually get is, can we just, some people are like, well, since the lateral surface area is the first part of this formula, technically, couldn't you just do 2 pi r squared and add those together? I mean, yeah, it's the same thing. Or I just like to put it all in once in the formula. I don't like to split it up. Okay. You ready to get spicier? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is annoying. Why does this keep unplugging? Y'all know what I thought about? I thought about a standing desk and how high it goes. I was like, I'm glad I'm short because I can at least do it, but I'm so mad. I thought it was going to raise up. All right, rectangular prisms. So if you're not a good drawer, oh, we never said that right. Try your best, okay? So first, let's start off with some variables, okay? So write on your paper, capital P, capital B, lowercase h. Okay, we're gonna be introducing something new. Well, let's go over what we learned previously. Does anybody remember what the capital B means? Area of the base. Area of the base. That is extremely important to know the difference between capital B and lowercase b because we're going to be using both. So capital B is the area of the base. Area of the base. H stands for height. And I'm going to add a little bit to this. It's height from base to base. Height from base to base. Which leaves us with our capital P. Anyone want to guess what it means? No. Capital P is the perimeter. Wow, that is not spelled right. Okay, just start over. Perimeter of the base. So capital P stands for the perimeter of the base. Capital P stands for the perimeter of the base. Whew. All right. I'm making it seem harder than it is. It's not that hard. Next class is hard, but not this one. All right, perimeter of the base. Okay, so capital P is the perimeter of the base. Capital B is the area of the base. H is the height from base to base. So let's look at our first example. Okay, so go ahead and draw this rectangular prism. If you don't know how to draw one, the way I draw it is I make a rectangle and then I make another rectangle inside that one, like up to the right a little bit. And then I just connect all the sides. And then I like to color in the bottom part so I can see it. So just try your best to make a rectangular prism. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Now, every year I'm very specific on how I do these problems because I think the way that I really break them down really helps understand it. But every year never fails. I just have people who don't want to do the extra steps, but I'm begging you, do the extra. So the first thing I like to do with these problems is I like to highlight my base. So I know, because if I know I need to find the perimeter of my base and I need to find the area of my base, I'm doing a lot of stuff with my base. So I just want to draw it out and I want to highlight it. So I'm going to first highlight my base. So the base in a rectangular prism is always the bottom rectangle, okay? So I'm going to highlight my base. And usually I do this on paper, so it looks better, but whatever. Okay, so here's my base. And then from here, I like to draw it out to the side. So I like to take it and draw it out here. So now my base is a rectangle, and I like to take it and draw it out. What are the dimensions of the base? Like, what are the length and the width of the base? 15 and 2. Okay, so I'm gonna write all that out. Okay, so my base is a 15 by 2 rectangle. Okay, so I like to highlight it and I like to draw it out. So that when I go to do my steps on how to solve this, I know what to look at. So let's first start with the lateral surface area. My formula for lateral surface area of a rectangular prism is S equals capital P times H. S equals capital P times H. So this time we don't just get to find numbers and plug them in. We actually have to do some work to get what we want. So we're gonna start with the perimeter first. P, capital P, is the perimeter of the base. So, I already drew my base out. So all I gotta do is look at this. So how do I find the perimeter of a rectangle? I add up all the sides. So I'm gonna do perimeter in red. So to find the perimeter of my base, I'm gonna add up all the sides. So 15 plus 15 plus 2 plus 2. Or some of you are like, well, just do 2 times 15 plus 2 times 2. Same thing, okay? So the perimeter of my base is just, I just add up all the sides. 15 plus 15 plus 2 plus 2. Let me pause, because if you have questions, I need to know, because I don't want to go too fast and people don't understand. So capital P stands for the perimeter of the base. So I took my base, drew it out, so that I know this is a 15 by 2 rectangle. My base is a 15 by 2 rectangle. So to find the perimeter, I added all the sides. 34. So 15 plus 15 is 30, plus 2 plus 2 is 4, so 34. So my P, my perimeter of the base, is 34. Okay? Ask me questions, because I don't want to move on if we don't understand the capital P. Okay. Now, let's do the H. What did H stand for? Height from base to base. So on a rectangular prism, that's the height from the bottom rectangle to the top rectangle. So what's the height of it, this prism? 5. So from base to base, my height is 5. So right here, this 5 represents my height. So now I have my numbers. My P is 34, my H is 5. Now I can plug that into my formula. So S equals P times H. So S equals 34 times 5. And now I'm getting my answer. Did everyone get 170? All right. 170, the units are millimeters squared. So there's my lateral surface area. This is the surface area without the bases. Some of you are like, but then why did we find the perimeter of the base? Perimeter is just the outside of a shape. So that's really just finding the area of this part right here. Perfect. So for the formula for total surface area, it's S equals PH plus 2B. that plus 2b is the area of both of my bases. So that's the total surface area, including both my bases now. So S equals pH plus 2b. Question, did we already find the P? Yeah, we already found the perimeter of the base. We already found the height. The only thing we need to find is what? The capital B, which stands for? Area of the base. So now all we need to find is this capital B, because we already found the other stuff. So don't I already have my base drawn out? Yep, so all I gotta do is look at this. My rectangle. Capital B is the area of the base. Well, here's my question. How do I find the area of a rectangle? Yeah, so this is my base, but to add them is perimeter. How do I find the area of that? Anyone remember area of a rectangle?
Length times width.
Perfect, length times width. So to find the area of a rectangle, I do length times width. Area equals length times width. Or your formula chart is going to say B times H, but that's the most, just length times width. So 15 times 2. Which equals 30. So my B equals 30. My area of my base equals 30. The area of my base equals 30. So now I have all my stuff. The perimeter of the base is 34. The height of my prism is 5. And the area of my base is 30. So now I'm just plugging that all in. S equals P is 34. H is 5. Plus 2 times the area of my base, which is 30. And I'm plugging that into Desmos like this. 34 times 5 plus 2 times 30. All right, did everyone get 230? All right. 230 millimeters squared. Okay. Okay. That one's a little bit more difficult than the cylinder, right? Because P, the H, the B, that can get a little bit the most. Okay, we're gonna try one more example and then I'm done. Okay, so if you're on Zoom and you want to screenshot this to help you with your notes, and if I'm going too fast, you can go ahead and do that. If you feel confident, what I want you to do is try to go ahead of me, but this is a little difficult and it gets a little confusing. So it's okay if you want to stay with me one more time. All right. So we're going to do the lateral and total surface area of this rectangular prism. First thing I always do is I highlight my base and draw it out on the side. Wow, that's so ugly. Whatever. And what are the dimensions of my base? 1.5 and what? 12. So we have our base drawn out with its dimensions around it so that we can easily figure out the P, the B, the P, and the B. So let's go ahead and just start off this time, just finding out all our variables, and then we'll use our formula. So I know I need to find the capital P, which is the perimeter of the base. So how do I find the perimeter of the base? Add all those sides together. So when I'm saying add all the sides, I'm only talking about the sides on the base. So the 12 and the 1.5, the 12 and the 1.5. So when I add all the sides of my base, that'll give me 27. Awesome. All right, and then what's my height? What's the height of the prism? 4.3, right here. So from base to base, so from bottom to top, my height is 4.3. So H equals 4.3. Aww. And the last thing I need to find is my capital B, which is the area of the base. I have my base right here. And how do I find the area of a rectangle? Perfect. 12 times 1.5. So it's length times width. So 12 times 1.5. is 18. So I have my H, I have my P, and I have my B. So now it's all about plugging it in at this point. So lateral surface area is S equals PH, perimeter times height. So S equals 27 times 4.3. One 16 point what? 0.1, all right. So if you went ahead of me, you should have got 116.1 millimeters squared. And for total surface area, it's S equals PH plus 2B. So S equals P, the perimeter is 27. The height is 4.3 plus 2 times B, 2 times 18. Yep, and you should get 152.1 millimeters squared. So the big thing here, I know this one's a little bit more complicated. The big thing here is to understand how to find your perimeter and linking that with the perimeter, how to find your height, and linking that with the heights, and how to find your capital B. All right, okay. So we are done with notes. Now we're just going to practice. Next class, we will do the triangular prism.